So he pinched the spinal cord about the width of your finger. They said it's about 19 millimeters. So he pinched it. What happened to his heart? He had to have a pacemaker put in, right? His lungs stopped breathing. His digestive system, he had to have people like push on his stomach to help him clear things out. Did he ever damage his heart, his lungs, or his digestive system? He only damaged the spinal cord, the nervous system. So for his is an extreme example of a lot of damage. For us, it's usually not that intense, thankfully. You know, obviously, yeah. So let's say instead of damaging the spinal cord at like 50% like he did, let's say you damage the nerve to your heart at like 20%. What's happening to the heart? Even if you don't have a crisis, you know, go to the emergency room, what if it's just functioning at 80%? Are you going to live 100 years with a healthy heart or 120 years with a healthy heart realistically? It's not possible. Every day the body's trying to renew cells. Every year you have a new body. If this is damaged, the signals are not getting there. Your tissues are not going to form properly. So over time, people start noticing energy levels go down, focus goes down, their body's not working the way it's supposed to. Most people say, oh, it's aging. Yet they also know someone who's the same age who's, you know, able to do everything they want to do. So health-wise, we look for areas of subluxation. So subluxation is where the spine shifts out of place and it starts to put pressure, stress, and damage on the nervous system. Makes sense, right? You guys have heard of that. That signal coming through there can't get to the tissues. It's not that your body's not trying, because you still have that intelligence up there that's trying to heal everything. It's that the signals aren't getting out to the tissues. The tissues are building damaged, imbalanced, dysfunctional cells. Those cells typically sit there silently for months or years in people, and it's not until you hit that threshold that your body ever gives you symptoms. So symptoms are a warning sign. So let's say that we just go and ice it and stretch it, and I have a massage and I don't fix the structure. Did I fix the problem? Because you can go home tonight and take an Advil. You can take an injection, but does that fix the cause of your problem? And long term, let's say you did fix the cause of it, let's say you injected it and the pain went away. What's happening to those organs that go out of there, the nerves that go for the organs? Like lower back-wise, these nerves come out and they go for intestines, reproductive organs, bladder, prostate. What happens if you just zap the pain out of there but we don't fix the structure? Are you truly better? Only 5 to 10% of your nerves go for pain. So most people that come in here, half the people that come in here, come in for wellness. They said, you know what, I'm not even in pain, I want to be healthy and stay well. Most people who've been under care for a while, they've gotten healthy. I mean, you see hundreds of people coming in here, most of them are just wanting to stay healthy, which is pretty awesome. So spine-wise, my goal is to basically find any areas of subluxation, work with adjustments to help keep getting them better and better and better, and helping you heal yourself. Because do chiropractors heal you? No. Just like medications don't heal you. We help remove interference from your nervous system and remove interference from your lifestyle. Your body is self-healing. That's the only thing that can heal, realistically. No one else can heal you from the outside in. So we have the faith in the immune system and the nervous system that it'll function better. So let's say you went home and you went to the doctor, you had testing done, they said you had a clogged artery. How many of you would say, you know what, I'm going to wait until I have a massive heart attack to do anything about this? Go home, I'm busy, I got stuff going on, I got to go to work, life, I'm busy. You'd never do that. This is your arteries, your heart. And you think about it, your nerves are actually more important than your heart, because they run everything. So when I see pinching in the nerves, that's how I feel. I'm like, this person needs to get this fixed because it's their life, it's their future in there. So now you know how I feel about chiropractic and the nervous system. So from the front, how should your spine look? Should it be straight or should it be all twisted over? No brainer, right? Chiropractic is not complicated. It should be straight. Hips should be level. Head should be on straight. Yeah. If you saw someone walking around like this, you're concerned, right? You see someone at work tomorrow and their shoulders, instead of being level, are all twisted. Or if you see them from the side and their head's like way forward, you start thinking about what that's doing to their organs and their body. So study-wise, when they look at severe scoliosis or even moderate to severe scoliosis, guess how many years they say it can take off someone's life? They said 14 to 20 years, depending on how severe it is. Because the nerves that it affect the organs. Do you know what I mean? So from the front, they're saying that we want to get everything into alignment. Let's say this person's got 100% pinching. Yeah, this person's more like 50, more like 20. How much pinching do you want on the nerves that run your body, realistically? Let's say it was a nerve for your thyroid. Energy levels, you know, who wants 10% damage on there? Nobody. Or if it's a nerve that goes out for like digestion and stomach. Yeah. So our goal is to get this thing back in place as close as possible and maintain it as awesome as possible for life. From the side, should it have curves or should it be straight? Ideally from the side, you should have these 3 perfect curves. So She should have a 43 to 45 degree curve in the neck. Lower back should actually be 35. So we should have curves here. Let's say you see this person that comes in, and they basically have a neck like that. Healthy or sick? Based on the idea, the nervous system inside here controls all function. When there's damage on the nervous system and the nerves, the signals don't get there. What if I told you that they came in and they felt fine? They had no numbness in their hands, they had no headaches. Do they still need to get it fixed? What about a child? Because we take care of a lot of kids. Say a kid comes in at 5 years old and their neck's like this. How many kids at 5 years old have numbness in their hands or have terrible migraines? Most kids don't have that stuff. They have more things like immune system or allergies, or most of the kids that we come in here don't come in for pain. They come in to get healthier. So our goal, well, you guys can tell me, who cracks faster, an adult or a younger person? Easy, right? Because the muscles hasn't been there so long. It's not so that some of the damage is very reversible. So our goal is to get things back in alignment. Kind of simple, right? So spine-wise, the numbers, if you want to memorize them, some people do. From the front, obviously it should be straight, hips should be level. From the side, the neck curve should be 43 to 45. The top bone's called your atlas. Atlas is the guy that holds up the whole world. Should be 31. Yeah. So looking at those two x-rays, this is a front view, just so you can really learn the front view ones. The red line is the normal line. You can see the two comparatively. When you see the one over here, well, who's healthier? Person on the left or person on the right? Yeah, no brainer. If the nerves that we're looking at are the ones around the hips and the ribs, so kind of through here, what kind of problems might this person over here have? Digestive, reproductive challenges, kidneys, adrenal glands, like dealing poor energy levels at 3 p.m. and beyond in the afternoon. Yeah. So we've taken care of a lot of people that couldn't get pregnant. One of our former front desk people, Sarah, was told she'd never be able to get pregnant again. What do you think her spine looked like when she started? She looked just like that. She worked downtown for a really good MD. They did all the right blood work. You'll never get pregnant again. She starts getting adjusted with chiropractic care. Not just that, she started changing her lifestyle. So it was a combination. Guess what happened for her? She got pregnant. She has a little daughter now named Izzy. So they have a video. We have pictures from, we checked the baby at birth. It's pretty amazing. We've seen this in multiple people because of how important the nervous system is. Sometimes it takes quite a long time, though. It's a process. And I'm not saying that I cure people of that. I'm saying that we get their body functioning better, and that's the ultimate goal, is to get it functioning as best as it can so your body can have the optimal potential to stay well. So looking at these two people, this is kind of cool. This is a before and after. You can kind of see someone when they first started, 14 degrees of scoliosis, with some care, 4.5. The question I ask on it, though, is it possible to have part of your spine out of place and not have the nerves being affected? It is not possible. It's an absolute. If your spine's not in the right alignment, your nervous system is being compromised and your body's not going to function as well as it should. Yeah. So my wife's story. When my wife was 13, they did that test at school. You know how they go like this? And her spine was all crooked. So they sent her to a spinal specialist who was a chiropractor, right? I wish. They sent her to a spinal specialist who's a surgeon in Syracuse. So at 13, they did the measurements and they said, you know what, it's not bad, it's not to the point where it requires surgery. Go home and watch, and we're going to watch and wait. We're not going to do anything. So let's say tonight you guys came in and I show you your x-rays, I show you where things are out of place, and I say we're going to watch and wait. What are you going to think of me? I'm crazy, right? I mean, we're always under gravity. Things tend to just get worse. So after a year, it was worse, and they said, now you're at a point on the angles where we need to put you in brace. You need to wear a brace. So she had to wear a full spine brace. It's called the Milwaukee brace, from here to here. She wore this brace for 23 hours a day. You had 1 hour per day where you could, have a break. She did that, and then think about your spine. Say you wear like a back brace all the time. What happens to those deep back muscles if you're wearing a back brace? They start to get deconditioned. They start to atrophy. They start to not be strong. So for her, she wore the brace. She went back, took the brace off. Guess what happened? It got worse. So after years of care, it was recommended to do a surgery. This is how they explain the importance of your nervous system and your health. They said to her, my wife and her mom, if you don't get this surgery, you're going to be crippled in a wheelchair by the age of 30, and you'll never be able to have children. Is your nervous system and your nerves and your health that important? It is that important, but you shouldn't be scared into anything. Chiropractic is not about fearing and scaring you guys into it. You know how important your nervous system is. My goal is to help you guys get healthier and to express your full potential, to realize the potential your body has. I have seen people come in who've had a spine that looks like a severe phase 3 who have seen amazing health changes. We have a woman who basically came in and she was living at Kendall, and her caretakers would bring her in, She was in terrible mid-back and low back pain, sciatica down her legs, couldn't control her bladder, having lots of health issues. They would drag her in, and she came in barely able to walk. Within 6 months, she had moved out of Kendall, living in her own house, controlling her bladder, moving better. She's amazing. She comes in every Monday and every Friday. I recommended, I'm like, you're recommending getting adjusted once a week as a preventative thing? She's like, no, I want to do twice a week. I never want to go back to the condition I was in. I want to live as long as possible, as healthy as possible. So chiropractic is not about scaring you into something. It's about helping you realize the potential that you have. So posture-wise, there's a million different studies now on posture. If you thought, think about it. As people have their head, it should be over the shoulder. As they go forward, what happens to their lung capacity? Yeah, put your head forward as far as you can. Take a deep breath in. Yeah, bring it back to where it should be, ear over your shoulder, deep breath in. So all the studies they find is people, they measure them basically. They put their back to a wall, and they basically measure millimeter plates. The further forward someone's head goes, the more heart, the more lung, and the earlier they pass away. That's what they're finding from it. So posture-wise, I care about your posture. At every re-exam, we check your posture because I want to see it getting better because it is a window to your spine. But let's say I only check posture. Let's say I never had x-ray, I never took an x-ray. What I know what's happening with your spine realistically. Let's say I lined up 10 people with the same posture. Do I know how their spines are individually? Not really, because posture is tricky. So x-ray-wise, we're one of the only offices in the area that has digital x-ray. Why? Because it's important, and because I'm not that cheap that I'm actually willing to spend the money to buy you guys an x-ray machine. It used to cost $300 to $500 just for a person to get their initial x-rays. For most people, that's more than like 2 months of their care, just for x-rays. I used to send people to community care all the time in our old office because I didn't have x-ray. So now we actually spend it. Most people coming in, their initial evaluation is like $20 or less than that, so that they can get evaluated and know their x-rays without spending a ton of money, because I really want to see what's happening. What they're finding from studies is when you lose that curve in your neck from the side, as your head goes forward, it can take up to 15 years off your life. So health-wise, your nervous system is huge. It's crucial that we start fixing it. Yeah. So I'll go through the phases so you can see comparatively. So on the images here, you'll see this is a normal here. Has that curve. There's a side view of the neck, back of the skull, the jaw's right there. You'll see a bigger view right up there. This is that normal x-ray, 43 and 31. Nice curve. This would be like a phase 1. A phase 1 is any spine that has got too much curve or too little curve. Too little curve is very common in our country. You think of like texting, you think of like all the work we do with our head forward. That's typically what starts to cause the problems. So a phase 1, usually it's been out of place for 0 to 10 years. After 10 years, what you'll start to see on x-ray, you'd see more advanced stuff if you took an MRI. On an MRI, you might even see beyond like the sharpness, you might literally see the disc pinching and crushing on things. But MRIs are obviously, not everyone wants to have those done. So the phase 1 is 0 to 10 years. A phase 2 is where you start having all that sharpness, is 10 to 20 years. You think about those spacers, those are your discs inside of there. Once you get to that phase 2, those things are really getting damaged. That's a phase 2. A phase 3 is when it's been out of place for 20, 25 years or more oftentimes. So looking at these spines, would you imagine we give different recommendations per person? Yeah. So this person requires less care than that person. That makes sense, right? Yeah. So spine-wise, I like to compare it to teeth. If you wore braces, how long would it take to fix your teeth? 3 to 5 years, right? Most people anywhere from, I would say 18 months is the minimum I've heard. Usually over that, maybe 15. But depending on the person, it's a process realistically. Why? Because you're changing bones, you're changing the structure, you're changing ligaments. With chiropractic care, how long does it take to fix your spine? One adjustment, right? You're back there and it's like crunch, and everything just magically, all those years of driving all funny and stressing and holding children, everything is just erased in one little light adjustment. No, it's a process. The average person in here, it's 6 to 12 months for them to get profound changes on their x-rays. Some people's spines, when they come in, they're not able to get back to perfect, but they're able to have huge health improvements and they're able to have big spine improvements. You know what I mean? Like if you walk in here, I'm not telling you you're going to be back to perfect. I'm saying we're going to do our best to improve it. I'll show you an example of someone who's gone from a phase 3 back to a phase 2 in a couple minutes. I see a lot of people who are able to go from phase 1 to back to perfect or near perfect. It's a process of adjustments and home care. So a question for you. Let's say that you had this home care kit you could use every single day, and you use it every day. Who would get better results? Person that uses this thing every day and has things, sleep cushions that help mold your spine while you sleep, has traction, head weight, wobble chair to help the discs and ligaments and connective tissue change. If the person used it every day, would they get better results than the person that didn't really use it at all or only used the warm-ups when they came in for adjustments? Yeah. Who would spend less money and get better results long-term and have better health? So home care kit-wise, we strongly recommend it. If you're not going to use it, you don't have to get it. I'm not going to follow you home at night and check on you, but it would get you better results. Make sense? Let's say you wanted to get in amazing health, amazing shape. You wanted to go to the Olympics. We have different athletes that come in. We're currently taking care of a lot of the Elmira Jackal hockey dudes. How often do they work out to get in shape for the season? Every day, twice a day at this point. They're kind of in training. So they want to be excellent. They want to be their best. Chiropractic-wise, how often do you think people do their home care and get adjusted? Home care is usually daily. Adjustment-wise, ideally you'd get adjusted daily, but the reality is you have a life and you have obligations. Most people, when they start care, if they're an adult, usually it's 3 times a week that they need to be adjusted. It's a process. If they're a phase 1, usually it's around the 6-week mark. They graduate down to 2 times a week. If they're a phase 2 or beyond, usually it's 3 times a week for 8 weeks, 2 months. You think about how long the problems have been there for, yeah, it makes sense. So usually we do the update x-ray around the 2-month mark or to phase 1 a little bit earlier. And after 2 months, you can literally sit there and look at your initial x-ray and your update after 2 months. You can see changes, even if your spine's had a problem for 20 years. It's kind of cool. So I don't just want you to feel better. I want you to visually see it and know what's happening. Yeah. So spine-wise, typically a phase 1, their first year of care, oftentimes it's around 50 to 60 adjustments they would require and doing their home exercise. That's corrective care to fix your spine. You can go elsewhere. You can take pain pills. You can do short-term care. But to truly change the structure of your spine, it requires repetition, and it's just based on all the clinical evidence of different studies and different techniques. So this is typically a 60-visit plan. These ones are oftentimes more like a 72-visit plan for a year. Some people do a 6-month plan, which is more like a 40 to 48 plan. So you can kind of see how it works. I'll show you some examples so you can actually see people who have gone through this process. And this is a classic, Wolff's Law. It's a law. They talk about when the spine's out of place, the discs degenerate, therefore the nerves and the organs are compensated. So it's not like a sometimes, it's an always. So this is my old neighbor. I grew up fishing behind his house. He was a farmer first, then he became a bus driver. That's his front view. Has he ever been to a chiropractor before? You would think not. I mean, it's way out of place. He actually went to chiropractor every year for 30 years. How did he find his chiropractor? Was he recommended? Most of you guys here have been recommended by awesome, amazing people. No, he basically 30 years ago, he called his insurance company, that's when he used to call them, and he asked him, who's the closest doctor who takes my insurance? And that's what most people did, that's what they used to do. So he went to the closest person. Did he ever have an x-ray in all of his 30 years? Do you know why? It wasn't the chiropractor didn't care, because chiropractor cared, and there's great chiropractors around here, but he said, your insurance doesn't cover it, and it's $300 to $500, so who's going to pay for it? So he never had an x-ray. So he would go in and get adjusted, and they would do like heat and stim and all this stuff, but they never knew the structure of his spine. Per year, his insurance covered how many visits? You guys ever look into the insurance stuff?
Usually
Somewhere from 2 to 10, depending if you're in network, they're pretty hardcore on you. So for him, it was 10 adjustments per year. So how often could he go? He could go 10 times because adjustment-wise, when his insurance didn't cover it for a typical chiropractic office, you think about it, the adjustment's usually like $40 to do like warm-ups and therapies, usually like $35 each. In our office, usually it's like $150 to $200. Most people can't afford that. And I'm cheap. I probably couldn't afford that realistically. So that's why we don't make our care that expensive, because I'm cheap. That's the answer. So care-wise, instead of doing what he'd been doing and going through the same stuff, he was at a point where he was sick of being in pain, sick of having health problems. It was recommended that he go through a surgery just like my brother went through. They said they were going to go in, they were going to put those screws in his lower back. They were going to open him up, put plates and screws. In his spine, the thing that was interesting was he started out younger with just mid-back and lower back achiness and pain. Over the years, he developed digestive stuff. He developed a lot of the other problems that are associated with the same nerves. So instead of doing that, instead of being out of work for 3 to 6 months, instead of having to spend all this money on a surgery, which my family did, he ended up coming to our office. Before we had this office, in the old office, I did this talk for him in his living room because I didn't have much of an office at all. So I explained the stuff to him. He got his x-rays at Guthrie before I had imaging. You can see he went from a 26-degree scoliosis down to a 20-degree scoliosis. He improved by 6 degrees. His posture improved by ½ an inch. How cool is that? What happened to his organs and his nerves and everything inside there? What do you guys think? He started functioning better. After 2 months, his pain had improved to a point where it was very moderate or mild. Did he stop chiropractic care after 2 months? No. He's coming for a long time because he wanted to stay healthy. As he started getting better, he also came to some of our seminars. We teach seminars every single month. He came and learned about nutrition and how to tweak that. So the next thing I knew, his cholesterol numbers had dropped. His doctor, because he's an awesome doctor, took him off his cholesterol drug. What happened to his depression? Gone. Yeah, today he's medication free. He was born in 1942. I mean, he is not the youngest person we ever took care of. So it's kind of neat to think about him. The interesting thing was he drove over here from Cortland, near Cortland, 35 minutes each way. Let's say he looked at his schedule and he's like, I've got children, I've got things going on, I've got work, I've got a lot going on, and I have to drive all the way over here to get adjusted to get this care. Let's say he just said, you know what, I can't take the time, I'm too busy. Where would he be today? What would his quality of life be? Because when you think about it, people always say, well, I don't have time, I don't have money. But time-wise, if you don't have your health, you lose a lot of time there. Money-wise, he could have gone somewhere and got adjusted like he was doing before, but it wasn't getting him anywhere. He was leading towards the surgery. So oftentimes people always say, I should do this, I'm going to go home and think about it, I'm just going to go put it off for a few weeks. If he just put it off, where would he be today? Yeah. So with your health, if it's a priority, you got to go after it. This is an interesting quote, though, from one of the most famous insurances in our area. Medicare-wise, a treatment that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, prolong and enhance the quality of life, or a therapy that is performed to maintain or prevent deterioration of a chronic condition is deemed not medically necessary. This is one of the things that we all pay for. It frustrates me to no end to know that we pay to support this. Yeah, so health-wise, they're saying the health is our responsibility. Whether it's most of the chiropractic coverage, eating healthy, working out, a lot of that stuff is amazing for you, but they're not a big thing with insurance. So they look at it, though, the same companies, Blue Cross Blue Shield, do studies on chiropractic care and people under care long-term, and they have found, and I can hand you these studies, that people under care long-term, they spend only 31% of the national average on health care. When you do the math, because it's $8,200 a year we spend, they would save around $5,000 per year and stay healthier and be extremely satisfied with chiropractic care. Kind of mind-blowing, yeah. So say I charged you for everything